Most of us know that thyroid glands produce hormones that impact our whole metabolism. Hence, those who suffer from hypothyroidism may gain weight. The thyroid gland is the only gland that takes iodine from regular food and combined with amino acids to make thyroxine and triiodothyromine, the T3 and T4 molecules that are carried around in the blood where they are used by all the cells of the body for their metabolism. Checking to make sure we have optimal iodine levels and of these hormones is therefore crucial. Adinopectin, as the name suggests, is produced by adipose tissue and is found to also affect our metabolism by burning fat for energy. Since it's secreted by fat cells, well, one would expect higher levels of this hormone in overweight people. However, several scientific literature has found a negative association between increasing obesity and levels of this hormone. But correlation is not always causation, and other research have proved that there is a more complex relationship between adinopectin and insulin resistance. Well, not all fat is made equal, and we have friendly fat and not so friendly fat. When we have the good fat cells in our body, we most likely don't have insulin resistance or diabetes. It appears that adinopectin levels are lower in those fat people who suffer from insulin resistance and therefore type 2 diabetes. The good news is that the levels of this hormone could be increased naturally with proper diet such as the fiber-rich Mediterranean diet. And when that happens, sensitivity of the body to insulin actually also improves. As we just mentioned, in type 2 diabetes, one suffers from the condition insulin resistance. Insulin is the hormone that helps in the regulation of blood sugar levels. It binds and carries sugar or glucose molecules and acts as the key that unlocks the door of the cells so that sugar can enter. However, when we eat too much high-calorie food and we have excess sugar molecules and therefore insulin in the bloodstream, eventually it leads to this condition called insulin resistance. When that happens, the cells no longer respond to insulin, and the excess sugar molecules in the blood are not being used up by the cells such as the muscle cells for burning up energy, but are instead stored away as fat. Leptin is another hormone produced by the fat cells of our body, and it helps to curb our appetite by letting the brain know that we are full. However, when we eat a high fructose, high sucrose, and triglyceride diet and gain too much of fatty mass, then we also have too much of leptin floating around, which makes the brain eventually less sensitive to the hormones, leptin hormone. Thus, we can become leptin resistant and we can continue to keep eating more. Most of us are familiar with everyday stress in our lives, and therefore with the stress hormone cortisol. Well, a little bit of cortisol is not necessarily bad. It helps to prepare our body for the flight or fight mode when we need to cope with stress. It helps to release energy quickly from fat reserves. It's only when there is prolonged stress and therefore too much cortisol over long periods of time that it can eventually lead to insulin resistance and weight gain. Therefore, managing the levels of stress and making sure that we take some time off from work to play and to relax is very important. As we get older, one of the hormone levels that fluctuate in women is the feminine hormone estrogen. Reduced levels of this hormone, especially at menopause, is found to lower the body's metabolic rate and shift fat storage from thighs and hips to the abdomen area. There is some research that hormone therapy may restore the body's metabolic rate and slow down weight gain. Just to quickly recap, when hormone levels are not optimal, we can get out of shape. Even though in reality the biology and interactions of these hormones can be very complicated, in general, we want to increase our T3, T4, adinopectin, and estrogen levels if they are already too low, and not have too much cortisol, insulin, or leptin floating in our system. If you've enjoyed today's video, please don't forget to subscribe to The Healthy Flamingo. When you subscribe, it helps us to bring you new videos on healthy topics every week. Thank you again for watching. See you next time.